All right, everybody, good morning again. Thank you for coming out. It's a special day today, Veterans Day. Without this day, there'd be no other holidays in our calendar year. So thank you again. Also, we have members of our local American Legion here, 548, and distinguished teachers and all the veterans. You at home, I'm sure you have veteran relatives too, so remember to thank them today, okay? Colors, post. Please rise for the national anthem. All right, thank you, guys. What is the meaning of Veterans Day? Well, today we have the opportunity to find out what that's all about. And here to present that is Cadet Rotelli to tell you the meaning of Veterans Day.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the fighting of World War I ended in 1918. At the conclusion of the war to end all wars, this day became a universally recognized day of celebration. So today, we honor all of our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedom. Those men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their lives not for recognition or fame, but to selflessly protect our country and our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember their great sacrifices, let us also salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom. So now it is the time to not only honor those who have fought or are fighting for our country, it is also the time for each of us to take part in protecting it. We can defend our freedom by simply putting our rights into action. We can be sure to perform our patriotic duty by voting in all elections, whether they be for the president, state representatives, or our local officials. We can speak out against injustices that we may see around us. We must ensure that everyone reaps the benefits of being citizens of our country. Abraham Lincoln so clearly articulated the sentiment when he said that we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought have thus far so nobly advanced. It is for us rather to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall have not died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. It is vital that we recognize our good fortune and care for those less fortunate than ourselves. So my challenge for the student body today is to serve. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it, because every act of kindness ensures that our country is a positive one. Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans, it's a day for all Americans. It's a day to remember why they were fighting, and a day for all of us to begin our journey of protecting our freedom and the freedom of many future generations. Thank you for honoring our veterans today, and let us walk toward a better tomorrow, still honoring them by living in the freedom they protected. Now let's take a moment to recognize our staff members who have served in the armed forces to protect all of us. Mr. Matt Roberts teaches AP Psychology and Asian Studies here at PRHS. Sergeant Roberts served in the Army from 1997 through 2001 and was deployed to Kuwait in 1999. Mr. Jeff Zimmerman is the Director of Facilities for our school district. Mr. Zimmerman served in the Army from 1994 throughout 2001 and was involved with both combat and engineering groups. Mr. Jason Goldsmith teaches AP U.S. Government and Politics, Themes of World History, and 20th Century U.S. History. Mr. Goldsmith served as an Army paratrooper from 1997 through 2001 in the 82nd Airborne Division. Mr. Brian Cieslak is a member of the custodial staff at PRHS. Sergeant First Class Cieslak retired from the Army after serving 33 years from 1987 through 2020. He served in many locations throughout the world, including tours in Italy and Iraq. Mr. Patrick Girdward is a member of our custodial staff at PRHS. S.K. Girdward served in the Navy from 1984 through 1988 and worked with the Air Surface Control Group. Mr. T.J. Nicotra is one of our building substitutes at our high school. TJ graduated from Pine-Richland in 2016 and was a member of the AFJRTC program. FSO Nicotra is currently serving in the Army National Guard and has been active twice for peacekeeping missions in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. Chief Michael Gasparetto is one of our AFJRTC instructors at PRHS and Mars High School. Chief Gasparetto served 30 years in the Air Force from 1981 through 2011 and has been stationed in many locations throughout the country and the world with notable positions in Germany and the Pentagon. Major Michael Morrison is the founding instructor of AFJRTC program at Pine-Richland High School and also works with the Mars High School AFJRTC. Major Morrison served 20 years in the Air Force from 1989 through 2004 as a fighter weapons systems officer, or WISO, on both F-15s and RF-4C aircraft. Major was stationed in many locations throughout the country and world and flew 69 combat missions with over 2,800 hours of flying service. At this time, will all of our staff veterans please come forward to be recognized, and thank you for all your service to our country. You may now clap.
You guys know what a hero is? If you don't know what a hero is, I'm going to tell you. It's anybody that takes the ordinary and does it extraordinarily well. That's a hero. Thank you, guys.
on, Richard. And now members of our choir will perform America the Beautiful.
U.S. Steel and the Pittsburgh Steelers salute our heroes, United States Army Specialist 4, Harry Van Riper. While serving in Vietnam, Harry's company was attacked, exposed to hostile gunfire. He bravely held his ground. The armored personnel carrier he was driving was then struck by an enemy rocket. His arm and leg badly wounded, he managed to climb out of the hatch of his burning vehicle. Harry's bravery earned him the Purple Heart. Please welcome United States Army Specialist 4, Harry Van Riper. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Steelers and U.S. Steel, we salute Specialist 4, Harry Van Riper. U.S. Steel and the Pittsburgh Steelers salute our heroes. United States Army Special.
Please join me in giving a warm PR welcome to Mr. Harry Van Riper.
I am blown away. I have not ever seen a Veterans Day like this before. This is unbelievable. I was in a stage band and marching band in 1960. I'm going on 75, kids. And wow, you guys are just, blew me away, everything. Thank you so much. I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm very proud to be here. And I can't say enough. Wow. Excuse me. I have a little COPD. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience in Vietnam. I got to Vietnam in 1968. The Tet Offensive was going on. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I was in part of all three of those campaigns. The third campaign is the big one. We ran into a reinforced regiment of NVA. This is not Charlie. This is like their best soldiers. They came down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and they went through tunnels, and we ran into them the first day, and we had a 4-hour firefight. I mean, we ran into something big. We had no clue what we ran into. It was a reinforced regiment, over 6,000 men. We were a battalion, and we sat there for 4 hours. They had to drop ammo. We're mechanized infantry. We have tracks. We have all kinds of ammunition, and we were running out of ammunition. They had to airdrop it. They were feeling us out. I know they were. So they backed off finally, and the next day we went back into the same area, but went towards the rubber plantation. It's called the Ben Kui Rubber Plantation. And the guys go out in front of the tracks, and the tracks follow behind. You'd think they'd do it the other way around, but anyway, that's the way they do it. And anyway, we took a break. You saw the picture, that field there in the front, the top part. They were already dug in there waiting for us to take off. When we pulled out, hell broke loose. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. I found an article, a whole book on what we did. We ended up getting a Presidential Unit Citation. We wiped out that reinforced regiment in 32 days and ended the Tet Offensive. We went forward, and what they did is they put together RPG squads. And they estimated they had 65 of them because we were ripping them up with our 50 caliber machine guns. And I never saw so many RPGs in my life. That's the first time we ever ran into that thing. But they were bouncing everywhere. All the other tracks backed up, and I looked out, and the guys are in front of us, and I could see the grass is moving. And I couldn't back up. I was waiting for those guys to clear that area and get some cover from the tracks. And I had my hand, luckily, up on the reverse. The guy before me lost 2 arms and a leg. I took over. I volunteered to drive after that because I had track school. Nobody else in the unit had track school. I didn't want to run around in Tet with some guy learning how to drive the track. So I volunteered. But anyway, I had my hand up there, and when I felt all the people were out, I was ready to back up, and I got hit with an RPG. It came through, took my arm off, my left arm. Had I had my hand on the same plane on the controls, I would have lost this arm too. The guy before me, as I said, lost 2 arms and a leg. I almost lost my leg, but they saved it, and it collapsed my lung. I think God wanted me here. I know God wanted me here. I ended up in a field hospital. I was there. I was in a coma for 8 days, and a rocket hit an ammo dump pretty close to the hospital. And the explosions were like really, really loud. They said I popped up. They didn't think I was going to wake up. I was in a coma for 8 days. And I popped up, and I tried to run. My leg was pretty shot up. I went down, but I was awake. I was on the way to come back. I was coming back. That was the start of my comeback. I ended up in the hospital for a while till I got enough strength, and they sent me to Japan. And then I ended up going to Valley Forge Hospital, which is no longer. They finally got rid of it. It was a World War II hospital. But I picked myself up. I couldn't walk, so I every day tried to pick up my leg till I could finally get it up off the bed, and then I started holding it up as long as I could, and pretty soon I was gimping. I wasn't walking real well, but I was gimping down the hallway. I wanted to get to the mess hall, and they weren't bringing enough food up for me. We ate sea rations, and good food was a good thing, so that was my motivation. I wanted to be able to walk down to the mess hall so I could get more food. But anyway, this whole experience, we wiped out a reinforced regiment ultimately. I was hit in the second day of that action, and that was the end of the Tet Offensive. Okay, is that my time? No, it's not. Anyway, I wanted to talk, I don't want to talk about all the gory details, but what happened to me there made me very, very, very strong. This was one of the biggest things that happened to me that's positive in my life, because when you have something happen to you, you keep pushing, you keep going forward, and it made me very strong. I went through labs. When I got to graduate school, I was in molecular genetics class. The people with 2 arms, they told us we were going to get behind in this lab. It was very complicated. I have to think everything through with a fine-tooth comb to figure out how to do it with one hand, because most of the techniques you're using both hands. So I had things down so well when it started, I didn't even need to look at the lab. I was done before any of the 2-arm people. So, you know, it's been that way. It's transferred to everything in my life I do. I think things through so thoroughly because of that. And it started right there back in those days when I was hit by that RPG. So I know for a fact that ammo dump, that was God's alarm clock. I know for a fact, because that's what woke me up. They didn't think I was going to get up. Anyway, I'm very appreciative. This was really touching. I mean, I was blubbering a little bit there as I watched this. You guys are super, super. God bless all of you. God bless America.
Mr. Van Riper, just a small token of our appreciation for you taking the time out and sharing your story with us. You're a great man, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciated this. Thank you.
Can I get all the military and admin up here for a quick photo op? Thanks again, Mr. Van Riper. At this time, will Cadet Christner come on down, and the cadets that are going to be doing the flag folding?
In the armed forces of the United States, at the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded into a triangle fold, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out, and at the ceremony of reveille, run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold stands for liberty. In America, we are free to own property, to elect our government representatives, to attend the church of our choice, to openly disagree, to travel freely without restriction, to pursue an education and the American dream. The white stripes of the flag symbolize our liberty. The second fold represents unity. Abraham Lincoln stated that a house divided against itself cannot stand. National unity in the face of natural disasters and external threats, such as those posed on September 11, 2001, has persevered our constitutional republic. The third fold stands for justice. In America, we believe that every person stands equal before the law and is deserving of just and fair treatment. The laborer and the lawyer are both entitled to justice in America. The blue of the flag embodies justice. The fourth fold symbolizes perseverance. To persevere means to endure, to remain steadfast despite severe hardships and obstacles. The Constitutional Army suffered repeated setbacks before claiming any significant victory. Yet throughout the brutal winter of 1777, at Valley Forge, they persevered. The fifth fold represents hardiness. Hardiness is the ability to withstand difficulty while remaining resolute despite adversity. The aggressors in World War II underestimated American hardiness. They thought the Americans were soft, incapable, and unwilling to endure hardship. Our soldiers and sailors, such as those who fought at Normandy and Korea, proved them wrong. The sixth fold stands for valor. Valor means courage, the act of defending what is right, even in the face of opposition. Nathan Hale, the Revolutionary War patriot, was convicted of spying by the British in 1776. Before he was hanged, Hale displayed great valor with his words, "I only regret that I have but one life to live for my country." The red color in the flag represents valor, symbolic of the blood shed by all the American heroes who sacrificed for our freedom. The seventh fold symbolizes purity. A pure nation is free from taint, from what weakness pollutes or renders it ineffective. Our founding fathers illuminated freedom's path for us when they created the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. The pure intent of these documents enabled the United States of America to become the greatest of all nations, a land of liberty which beckons to all who are seeking asylum from persecution and oppression. The eighth fold represents innocence. Innocence implies that one is unacquainted with evil and thus free from sin. George Washington once stated, "The love of my country will be the ruling influence of my conduct." Americans pay tribute to him and to all those who give devoted service to uphold freedom ideals without selfish or evil motivations. The ninth fold signifies sacrifice. To sacrifice is to give something up for a value or an ideal, belief, or goal. America exists today because of the sacrifices of countless Americans. Many have made the ultimate sacrifice of their lives in battles waged during the Revolution, the World Wars, in Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, and other locations around the world. We pay tribute to them and to the firefighters, policemen, soup kitchen workers, members of our armed forces, and numerous others who continue to sacrifice for our freedom. The 10th fold stands for honor. One who possesses a keen sense of honor. To honor a person or ideal is to display respect for them. We give thanks for all who have acted with honor in founding and the growth of America. We pray that each citizen and all those who represent us in the government will conduct themselves in a manner that will continue to bring honor to our nation and to our flag. The 11th fold symbolizes independence. Independence is the state of being free, or being able to make unrestricted choices within the law, as free individuals and as a free nation. Ever since our nation's birth, Americans have fiercely defended their independence against all oppressors. Patrick Henry articulated the sentiments of his fellow Americans past, present, and future when he uttered those famous words, "Give me liberty or give me death." America stands as an icon of freedom and independence for the oppressed of the world, and may it always remain so. The 12th fold represents truth. Truth is the body of real events and facts. It has persevered through adherence to reality and the avoidance of falsehoods. America was built upon God-given truths articulated in the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Adherence to these truths has made America a great nation. We pledge to continue this noble legacy of truth so that in America, every man, woman, and child may forever be free. The 13th fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, persevering for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time and attention today and taking part in our flag folding ceremony, and salute to our veterans. Now I'm going to ask you all to please rise and remain silent as we remember those veterans who served our country and have passed away.
Right, face. Forward. Arch.
Take your seats, please. All right, we're coming to a close here, but before we leave, Dr. Hernandez wants to come down and say a few words, but before he does that, I want you all to give it up to for Mr. Scott, because he planned, organized, and executed this whole event. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Dr. Hernandez.
Okay, thank you everyone for your time today. For this day and moving forward, please remember to thank our veterans for their sacrifice and their service to our country. Students, there's so much to be grateful for and appreciative for after listening to an assembly like this. So much to be thankful for. This was a really unique learning opportunity for us. We were able to learn a lot more about our country. We were able to learn more about freedom and those who served our country. I want to thank you for your attentiveness and your focus during this assembly. Based on your engagement, your eye contact, your silence, your ovation, we could feel the gratitude for those that served today, and I want to thank you for that. To our dance team, our Air Force JROTC students, our band members, thank you for your involvement today. You did a wonderful job leading this assembly. I want to echo what Major Morrison just shared. Mr. Scott did a lot of work to make today possible. So to Mr. Scott, Chief Gasparotto, and Major Morrison, we thank you, and we can give them a round of applause. I think they deserve it. To Mr. Van Riper, who I believe is a community member here, and to our veterans that served, our Legion members, thank you so much for your attendance. Would you please stand for one more round of applause from our student body? To our staff members that were able to be honored today, Mr. Goldsmith, Mr. Nakatra, and Mr. Girdwood, would you please stand as Pine-Richland staff members to receive a round of applause? Mr. Roberts as well. Again, fantastic learning opportunity for us. Really appreciative that we were able to take this time, set it aside, and honor those that have served. So what we're going to do is we're going to start dismissing back to first period at this time. So we're going to go in this order. Teachers, why don't you go ahead first and get ready for first period. We'll give them a little bit of a head start. We're going to follow, obviously, students' an activity bell schedule today. And we're going to dismiss juniors first because you're seated more towards the back, and then seniors second. So juniors, go ahead.